First of all, I want to thank you, Wura, for putting up this bootcamp.
Thank you, Coach Wura. You are a blessing to us in this bootcamp and to your generation at large.
Coach, you are amazing. I love your teaching. I love how you are genuinely teaching us and you genuinely want us all to be successful and to start right.
Thank you, Coach Wura.
And thank you, Coach Wura, for investing in the next crop of fashion entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
And so you're a fantastic teacher, being able to break down to the nitty-gritty in the simplest of ways that even a baby would understand and be able to implement.
I have never had so much thinking about my business. Like, my eyes are just opening every day to new things.
And I'm really grateful for this platform because it has made me to realize that in order to be successful, you have to build systems.
It has really been an eye-opening journey for me. I finally understood the power of having clear, standard operating procedures for my business.
I have never seen a more consistent person in my life. The kind of way you inspire us, even we are ashamed to give excuses in the bootcamp. So for me, Wura is a real deal. Go and check her out.
Thank you so much, PFA.
I'm really proud to, call you my coach.
Thank you, Coach Wura.
God bless you.
You do not have a sewing problem, you have a money strategy problem. My name is Wura Olaobaka. I am called your profitable fashion coach because I am the only one who is obsessively, compulsively interested and genuinely obsessed about making sure that your fashion business is making profits. So through the course of this week, we've been exploring different ways our money is leaking, different ways that we can put in structures in our business to help us put our money together. It's not enough for us to know how to sew. It's not enough for us to be the baddest ass fashion designers. We want to make our fashion business profitable. It's about having fashion businesses that go to the bank and just make sense. Let me tell you something about my journey. I think that's a good place to start today. So Wura NG is my fashion brand, and I am the creative director of Wura NG. It's a Nigerian ready-to-wear fashion brand that makes classy dresses for confident women. That much we know. And when I first started out at Wura, I ran it as a bespoke label. I tell this story all the time, and I'm never ashamed of telling it because it's my story, right? So it's mine to tell. So I ran it as a bespoke label, and I was good at what I did. I was excellent. I mean, I did the whole 9 yards from wedding dresses to traditional wedding dresses, bridesmaid dresses, ashrebi, the whole 9 yards. I did it right. And I was good. I had premium clients. I had good finishing. I had people who really respected my skill. So I charged premium. Yes. I worked hard. Yes. But here's where the problem was. Everything depended on my hands. So no matter how good I was, I could only sew so much. And even when I started hiring a team, there was still only so much we could do. And here is why. I could not batch produce. So I couldn't, in fact, let's start from batch buying. I couldn't go to the market and buy a batch, like buy fabrics for a collection and then come and then produce them, right? I had to do, so if someone brings one thing, you go to the market, sort out stuff for that thing, another thing you go. So sometimes we'll say, okay, well, let's bulk buy. So we'll bulk buy. Guess what? The day a customer comes, is that particular color of thread that you don't have that you will need for that dress. So you have to go back to the market. Or that particular color of trim. Or they'll tell you that, oh, there's this one that you want. So you always had yourself doing one thing or the other per time. I couldn't batch create. I couldn't batch produce. I couldn't batch sell. Do you know what it means to do one campaign, do one ad, and you know that you have 1,000 pieces or 500 pieces, or even if it's even 50 pieces of that thing to sell? It's the same money you're using for that ad, for that campaign, and you are selling so much. But I found that because I couldn't do that, my skill was premium, but my business model was small. I was positioned to not be able to grow beyond a certain level because of the business model I was running. So at some point, I had to sit down and have a meeting with myself and say, come, what are you doing? And what can you do about it? Is this really where you want this to start and end? So I realized that my problem was not design, it was numbers. Because at the end of the day, business is a game of numbers. If you are not playing with the numbers game, you are leaving money on the table. So Bespoke was rewarding my efforts, but it wasn't building a system for me. It wasn't repeatable and replicable. So I was losing out on the numbers, although I was charging a premium. But because there's only so much you can do with a premium client's dress, right? There's only so much you can do. So I wasn't having those systems. And that's the difference. Bespoke rewards efforts, but ready to wear rewards systems. And that is when I began to understand money strategy. When I moved to ready to wear, I saw business differently. And the funny thing was that my shift to ready to wear was very instructive because it wasn't something I wanted to do. I just knew that I wanted to be able to free out more time for myself. And I said, okay, how do we pivot? And then I went on around that journey and I was able to pivot. But it was only after I did pivot that I realized that, you know what? This is really the number game. We can actually win at the numbers game in ready to wear. Because I now understood the power of batch creating. So I'll do one design, I'll do one production flow, one marketing message, and then I'll be able to repeat the sales. I'll be able to look at the metrics, see what is happening, see what's going on, and then scale it. And that was so key. So I was no longer selling structure. I was no longer selling skill, rather, I was selling structure. I was no longer selling skill. I was selling structure. So, this is one of the most important lessons I learned, that it is not the most complex or the most dramatic that sells. It is the simplest things. Now at Ura, we have the Candy Bubu, which is our singular best-selling design, and that design is excellent. But yet, it is simple. Clean lines, clean finishing, clear brand promise, clear deliverable, and customers just understand it. And because this design is understood, I've been able to scale it 1,000 times over, literally. We have sold over 30,000 units of that particular design. So, you need to have a system where you have items that are simple to make, easy to repeat, easy for the market to understand, and easy to price consistently. Simple to make, easy to repeat, easy for the market to understand, and easy to price consistently. So the market did not reward complexity, it rewarded my consistency. Because I was doing the same thing in a repeatable way, I became memorable. I became recognizable. That was what actually made me look like a brand. Now, am I saying that there aren't some people who are able to still define a brand within the bespoke niche? There are. But what is actually the percentage? So, yes, the market rewards consistency, not complexity. That's something you need to remember as a fashion entrepreneur. Consistency is more important than complexity. You don't need to have the most, yes, you might have a style that is so eccentric that it will make you go viral. But that's the best that can happen. You will go viral. And then what? If we are talking about building sustainable, profitable fashion brands, those things are built by repeatability. The ability to repeat the same thing over and over again. So it actually finally clicked for me that money does not follow brilliance. It follows that repeatability. It follows repeatability. Put it in the comment section. Money doesn't follow brilliance, it follows repeatability. If you are not able to create a repeatable system, you are leaving money on the table. So when I say that you don't have a sewing problem, but you have a money strategy problem, I'm saying let's forget about how creative you are and let's talk about the numbers. How do you understand your numbers? Have you sat down to say, how many items did we create this month or this week? Today is Friday. How many items did you create this week in your fashion house? And how much in profit is going to come out of those items that you have created? Because at the end of the day, it is a numbers game. Numbers would always win. Even when we look at the most profitable fashion brands we know, let's look at the designer labels, the Gucci's, the Chanel's. Yes, they have designer houses. That's where haute couture comes from, you know. So they have the designer houses that do these eccentric things. They have a small niche clientele that go to haute couture week in Paris once a year. They buy things off the runway. They have that. But then they realize that although they have that haute couture audience that actually does the big spending, the big buying, but it's still not enough to take them through the course of the year and result in the numbers that they make. And that is why they all have retail lines, because retail lines gives you a system where you can engineer consistent sales. It's really the sales engineering for me. You can say, okay, last month on this product, we did this number of units. What did we do right? How can we take this data and how can we scale it? And that is what ready to wear will do for you. But it's not just ready to wear. It's about having a system even within that ready to wear line. Because again, if you just go into ready to wear without any system, you're still going to find yourself in the same cracks. So let's start from the basic thing. You went into ready to wear, but you don't know your customer. You weren't targeting any particular person. You weren't targeting any niche. You just say, you know, they say that boo-boos are selling now. Let me just start ready to wear so that I can do it. But you had no focus on who you wanted to sell to and how you wanted to sell to them. And so you just entered. Okay, I remember. Let me even use myself as an example. So after I first decided that I wanted to switch, right? And I said, okay, let me start making dresses. And guess what? I started making dresses for people that looked like me. And right now, I even have a little bit of body, right? But back then, when I started making ready to wear dresses, I was literally maybe a size 6 or a size 4. And I was making dresses for tiny people. These dresses stayed on my rack. They gathered dust. I think I now eventually did a yard sale to sell them out, because I did not start doing my ready to wear with a plan. I didn't start from the foundation, which is understanding my ideal customer, understanding my why, understanding who I'm called to serve. And all these things are things that we now teach in the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp. Because in the bootcamp, we create a system through which we teach you how to transition. First week in the bootcamp, you're dealing with understanding your why, understanding your customer, understanding your identity. Second week, we deal with legal and regulatory compliance. We take it all the way to SOPs, inventory, fabric mastery, measurements. You know, by the time you're out of the bootcamp, you'll be like, no wonder fashion businesses fail. There is a formula. There is a formula. So, if you are not able to create that system where your money is following repeatability and not design brilliance, you're just leaving money on the table. At the end of the day, fashion is business, and business is a game of numbers. Fashion is business, and business is a game of numbers. It's a game of compounding. So if you're not able to compound, whether because you're not able to have enough enough sales, like you're not able to sell one thing, a lot of it, or you're not able to compound on customer base because you're not able to go into new markets, because as a bespoke fashion designer, there's a limit to how easily it is for you to be able to go into new markets, as opposed to someone who is ready to wear and can ship worldwide. You're not able to go into new systems of marketing, because again, there's only so much you can market a bespoke service for, right? And that is where we talk about the money strategy. So when a designer tells me that I just need to get better at my sewing to earn better, I really understand where that belief comes from. But the question is not whether you can sew. The question is, can you repeat it profitably? That's the question. Can you repeat that sewing system in a profitable way? So what did ready to wear do for me? How did this affect my money? So here's what ready to wear did for me and how it affected my money. Ready to wear made me start writing things down. That was the first thing. Documentation. Ready to wear made me start documenting. I documented in ways I had never documented before, and I'm still documenting. Ready to wear made me keep a keen eye on my numbers, because if I did not know my numbers in terms of my cost of goods, for instance, I would not know how to price. If I did not know how to price, I would not know if I was profitable. I won't even be able to calculate profitability. So, ready to wear now helped me to actually keep an eye on these numbers so that I know how much am I earning per time, how much am I making, how much am I spending, how much am I getting as gross profit, how much is my net profit, how much after tax. It made me it made me think about my business. It makes me, let me not even say it made me. It makes me wake up every day thinking about my business. So I had to document everything, from sizes to pricing to production workflow to workflow for order fulfillment to workflow for every single process. As a matter of fact, we have a rule at Wura that every time that there's an error notice, we create a process that makes it not repeat itself again. So let's say that someone delivered something and an order was mixed up. We will create an order to delivery SOP to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Let's say the runner who goes to the market went to the market and bought a different color of thread for a dress we wanted to sew. We will create an inventory SOP or a procurement SOP to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Whatever system or whatever error that we notice within the system, we create a systemization process to make sure that error doesn't repeat. And then we give it to the owner of that SOP that this thing is for you. This is a system to make sure that you don't repeat that error. And if you do repeat it, these are the consequences. Without building these systems of documentation, my ready-to-wear business would have collapsed by now. I won't even be able to say, oh, I'm Wura, I'm your professional fashion coach, I'm helping you, I'm obsessed with making you profit. I won't be here to say that. So, systems are what helped me scale my ready-to-wear business. So for me, SOPs, standard operating procedures, documenting the procedures by which I get things done in a way that creates a way that I can repeat things, in a way that makes sure that my brain is not the only brain in the business, but everybody's brain is as good as mine. SOPs were my survival tools. They were the tools of longevity for me. They were the tools that said that you will be in business longer than you. If you don't have a system of documentation, you can't pass on legacy. There's no passing on of legacy without documentation. So if you say, I want to build a legacy brand that outlives me, and whether this is even in business, family, or whatever, there's no legacy passing on without documentation. That is why when you look at the Bible, you trace genealogies and say, okay, Abraham was the father of Isaac, Isaac was the father of Jacob, Jacob was the father of... That's why you trace genealogies, because there was documentations of those systems. If those documentations didn't exist, you wouldn't know. I mean, this is what? How many years later? 3,000 years BC, post-Christ. But we know what happened because it was documented. So standard operating procedures are means by which you're able to document systems in a way that creates repeatability and the passing on of legacy. So today, I still leave you with this, that you don't have a sewing problem. You have a money strategy problem. And the day that you stop asking your hands to solve what only systems can fix, that's the day that your business changes. Yes, legacy is sustained through documentation. Thank you for putting that in the comment section. There's no legacy without documentation. There's no legacy without documentation. So if you leave here today and you don't remember anything, leave here with this one thing. The way to solve your money strategy problems is to create a system of documentation of money. Is to create a system of repeatability that enables you scale your numbers. Because at the end of the day, success in your fashion business is not a game of skill. It doesn't go to the most skilled. It goes to the person who is the fastest to adapt to change and the person who understands their numbers with clarity, can interpret it succinctly, and can use it to make strategic decisions. Profits is a game of numbers. The earlier you know this, the faster you are to profitability. So thank you for joining me on today's Fashionpreneur Friday forum. We're going to still have our Fashion Daily Fix from Monday next week, and we're going to be sharing something really exciting. Like I have said in the previous days, we have the SOP bundle. We created the Fashionpreneur SOP bundle because we needed done-for-you templates. So based on feedback I've had from bootcamp participants and many other fashionpreneurs who I mentor and who come to me for one-on-one sessions, I realized that even though people know how to do SOPs, but sometimes they don't really know how to calibrate it in a way that makes it repeatable, that puts in the right framework for which you can actually ensure compliance. And so at the PFA, we have gone ahead to do the hard work, because that's what we do, right? So we are doing the hard work of creating done-for-you SOPs that you can plug and play. And those SOPs are now available for pre-order. All you need to do is to send a message to the number showing in the comment section and say SOPs, and someone will reach out to you with details on how you can get the SOPs. So remember, legacy is sustained through documentation. Thank you for joining me on today's live. It's always a pleasure being here, and I look forward to seeing you same time, same session next week. Have a fabulous weekend, fashionpreneurs, and I will see you on Monday.
First of all, I want to thank you, Wura, for putting up this bootcamp.
Thank you, Coach Wura. You are a blessing to us in this bootcamp and to your generation at large.
Coach, you are amazing. I love your teaching. I love how you are genuinely teaching us, and you genuinely want us all to be successful and to start right.
Thank you, Coach Wura.
And thank you, Coach Wura, for investing in the next crop of fashion entrepreneurs.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
And so you're a fantastic teacher, being able to break down to the nitty-gritty in the simplest of ways that even a baby would understand and be able to implement.
I have never had so much thinking about my business. Like, my eyes are just opening every day to new things.
And I'm really grateful for this platform, because it has made me to realize that in order to be successful, you have to build systems.
It has really been an eye-opening journey for me. I finally understood the power of having clear standard operating procedures for my business.
I have never seen a more consistent person in my life. The kind of way you inspire us, even if we are ashamed to give excuses in the bootcamp. So for me, Wura is a real deal. Go and check her out.
Thank you so much, PFA.
I'm really proud to, call you my coach.
Thank you, Coach Wura.
God bless you.